Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you a rhetorical narrative of how I hit my physics teacher's car in the school parking lot my senior year of high school. To give you guys a little bit more background information, I had gotten my license the summer between my junior and senior year, and I had been driving accident free for about 2 months prior to this little mishap. Um, so I was a fairly new driver, apparently with no real parking skills. So that kind of explains itself a little bit. So seniors at my high school back home are allowed to drive to school and park their car in the senior lot, which is this really far little dirt lot in the back behind the athletic fields. And it's a really long walk into school every morning. So a lot of people complained about this walk because there was a much closer, more convenient parking lot that was never really full all the time. But this lot was reserved for teachers only, and if students did park there, they would be penalized. So a lot of complaints were going around about how we had to walk so far when there was a much easier location to park in. But what was really convenient, though, for me as an athletic student that had to stay after school for practice was students that stayed after school for sports and clubs were able to move their cars closer to the building into this more convenient parking lot. To be able to leave more quickly and effectively. So it was really convenient when I would go after school to move my car and then just have an easier walk back to my car after practice to head home. So I was moving my car one September afternoon, and I really wasn't accustomed to having a spot open up so quickly right in front of me. In a really, really sweet spot that was super close, super awesome, just an all-around great parking spot, and you know how excited you get when you see a great spot. So I really wasn't positioned correctly to take advantage of this spot. I was way too close to the parked cars. I was going a little bit too fast because I really wasn't expecting to find any spots, and I wanted to get to a spot as soon as possible. So when I did see this sweet spot open up in front of me, I was kind of a little bit impulsive, and I went for it, even though I probably should have backed up and re-maneuvered my car. So when I did turn into the spot, I overshot it a little bit because I was going too fast, and I didn't have time to cut my wheels completely. So I ended up just catching the car next to my spot's bumper a little bit. It really wasn't that bad, but for my first time accident, it felt like I had just had a total major accident. The sound was actually surprisingly loud. My heart dropped. I was so embarrassed. People were watching. My ex-boyfriend was walking by and he saw me do that, so that was super embarrassing. I didn't know. I kind of froze a little bit after I hit the car. And then when I regained my senses, I kind of fumbled with the gear shift and re-maneuvered my car a few more awkward times to try to like squeeze it into the spot. And when I got out to inspect the damage, a lot of people were looking at me and just like, oh my God, she hit someone's car. So I was super flustered and embarrassed. But luckily, one of my favorite teachers was there. He came over and made sure that I was okay. He gave me some advice on how to handle the situation because I had no experience prior to this of how to deal with anything like this. So he helps me write a note with all my contact information on it, and I left it on his windshield. So after that, I was basically just waiting for this person to call me. I didn't know if they were going to call me back, if they were going to bother with it, if they were going to be really upset, if they, were going to make me pay to fix their car. So I was really wound up emotionally. I was pretty stressed out. When I called my parents, I just kind of like broke down. I started crying because I was so stressed. I was worried about our insurance going up. I was worried about of just losing their trust, about not being able to drive again, about just parking in general. Like I was super scared to park every time after that. So I was really worked up, and by the time I got home, I was so flustered and so just overwhelmed with emotion that I sat in my driveway and in my car just cried for a solid 10 minutes, which is so embarrassing to admit, but I did that. Anyway, so by the time I actually made it into my house, I saw that the answering machine little light was flashing, and my heart started beating so fast. And I didn't know who was going to be there or, what they were going to say. So when I played it and I heard my physics teacher's voice like booming into my house, I was so shocked. I didn't expect to know this person, or even like be this person's student. So it was a whole new level of like, oh my gosh, embarrassment. I had to listen to his message actually twice more before I could actually hear what he said because I was so just overwhelmed by this whole idea that I knew this person and that I had to go to this person's class the next day and talk to them. But actually, when I listened to his message, I was really surprised because he complimented me on being so professional by leaving a note and taking responsibility for my actions instead of just driving away and leaving the damage anonymous. So he really was impressed by how mature that my actions were and how I handled the situation. So even though I was feeling really emotional and stressed and overwhelmed, I was able to communicate in an effective and professional way. And I guess that's the moral of my story. So that even if you are totally at a different place on the inside and totally freaked out, it's important that you still are able to effectively communicate with your peers and with your superiors and teachers and friends and things like that, because communication is really what fixes the situation. And it's really important that you take the time to be professional and clear and concise about it. And that is my rhetorical narrative.